Core and I watched Sonic 3.
Whoa, you guys watched Sonic
Gasp.
3?
Sonic the Hedgehog 3, dude.
I wanted to go with them. They went on a date to the movies together without me.
We were holding
I wasn't
hands. It was
allowed.
really cute.
It was incredibly cute. It was so cute they kicked us out of the theater. We had to go do it again.
I heard that they had like a Sonic gun popcorn bucket, but they had to stop like using it because it was deemed too insensitive, I guess.
I want to get shot by Shadow. Do you want to give like general opinions first before we get into spoilers?
Yeah, we
and, like,
wouldn't want to
specifics?
spoil anyone on Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie 3.
I know you say that, but I know there's people in our audience that will get angry.
There are people that care. Spoilers for Sonic Adventure 2, the video game from like 2003.
I was surprised like how much they took from Sonic Adventure 2. I was hoping it would be more. I thought easily it was the best one of the trilogy. I just think there was so much meandering in the first two movies that like even I liked the human stuff on the second movie. There was like none of that in this movie. All the human stuff was like pushing the plot forward. Like,
And that's why I'm out.
All right,
Damn.
Shark.
Okay, we lost the investment. No Sonic 4, no Sonic 5. Yeah, I think in terms of enjoyment, and this is heavily weighted to the fact that I watched this movie fully sober. My enjoyment was about the same as the last movie.
Which you also watched sober.
But the first time I watched it high, and that was a great experience. I think like I feel like I enjoyed them similar amounts, but for very different reasons. Because this movie has like a much tighter story, and it also feels like the most like a Sonic movie. Like there were so many moments and scenes and stuff. I'm like, this is just Sonic. Like I'm just watching Sonic do things. Like it's not I'm not watching a wedding movie. I'm not watching My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
It felt at least like an Alvin and the Chipmunks movie.
Yes.
Because like the other ones is like, oh, Sonic's a child and he has a human family, but the human family is barely in this movie. They're basically just used to help him like defeat Eggman and stuff in this movie. Yeah, it felt the most like a Sonic movie. I think the humor is like pretty hit or miss, but I thought Jim Carrey, particularly in this movie, fucking killed it. I think it's like his best performance in the Sonic trilogy. I thought it was really funny.
I kind of hated him as Robotnik. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't
really.
I did not like Robotnik. For me, it's like the entire time I'm watching the movie, the only thing I could see is the effect, and also how them having to do the effect limited it, like the acting visually. So to me, I just found it like kind of distracting having an actor play off of themselves.
There's two Jim Carreys in this movie.
Yeah, so there's so Dr. Eggman's grandfather is in the movie.
And it's just Jim Carrey again?
It's Jim Carrey, but in an old and fatter.
When I saw that,
they like record it at two different periods in time and like mesh the footage together? Like
yeah, basically. I thought it worked very well. I just think Jim Carrey is such an animated actor that it kind of carries it for me. I think his line delivery is great.
I was just a little bit too like Konichi what when I saw it.
Oh, that was terrible. Okay, let's be honest here. Let's talk about the Konichi what moments. You know,
Sonic 3 might have the highest density of groaners per minute that I have ever seen in a movie. Like it's genuinely impressed. Like they pack them. It's like every single line. They're trying to fit one in there.
Some of the groaners hit though.
And it's funny because you call it a groaner, but you know when you're in theaters, there's like that one fucking person in the theater who thinks it's the funniest joke on the planet.
I think this movie is so camp. Like the emotional scenes are so funny in this movie. Like when Sonic is sitting down with fucking James Marsden, he's like, "You gotta make choices, Sonic. Every choice in your life matters in your whole life." And I'm just dying of laughter in the theater. And this movie is incredibly camp, and I feel like the comedy moments hit for me just because like I'm viewing it as this like really stupid fun ride. Definitely Sonic said like some Konichi what moments. Definitely some of the things Eggman and Sonic said were cringy. But I feel like I loved Shadow in this movie. I thought Keanu Reeves did a really good job. I was
what did he sound like? Did he sound like Keanu Reeves or was he like voice acting?
He sounds like it's Keanu Reeves. It just sounds
I feel like he was voice acting a bit. I definitely think he was voice
Some people might say that, like you.
I think he's acting more than he did in fucking John Wick. Like, he's acting more in this movie.
You think this is a better performance than John Wick?
Yes, I do think it's a better performance than John Wick. It's way better. I think he's trying to be angsty like Shadow. Like that's very much like how it's put across. I thought his voice fit pretty well.
It's just like some of the line reads. It sounded to me like Shadow didn't know what was happening. Like it's almost like the Idris Elba with Knuckles effect. But that works with Knuckles because he's supposed to be just a dumbass and it's funny. Sometimes with Shadow it just was a little weird.
Did they give him a
I
gun
will
in the
say,
movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
they give
yeah,
him
they
a
do have a
gun.
gun.
And you know why they got Shadow right? I talked about this earlier with you guys, but like I was looking at his career, and he like got his start directing the cinematics for Shadow the Hedgehog, the game.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can tell because there's so many nods to the visuals from Shadow the Hedgehog and like the shadow stuff. Like when he uses an ability that he has, and like the scene he rides off on his bike and he pulls the gun out, literally like the cinematic from Shadow the Hedgehog.
No, that whole first scene was exactly like the Shadow the Hedgehog scene.
It's
that was
so fun. And Shadow the Hedgehog looks good. Like, he looks like Shadow the Hedgehog. I want them to go back and redo all the other character models because I know people like them.
I like Tails.
But I think
Tails
most
cute.
people like them because they saw the bad versions first and they don't know how good it could be. Shadow is how good it could be. He looks like the video game character. The other characters look kind of like the character. I think they look weird, especially in close-ups. Shadow looks really good in close-ups, especially like the back shots of him were really good.
The back shots,
the Shadow back shots were one of my favorite parts of the.
I took out my phone and started taking pictures. That's how good the back shots were. Yeah, no, I thought he was very daddy. I don't know. I think Tails and Knuckles look pretty decent. I think specifically Tails, I think it looks pretty good. But yeah, I especially Sonic during close-ups looks weird. There's something up with him. Like whenever, but I think from afar he looks okay. I feel like the only detraction for me, I felt like the climax and like the third act was like a bit drawn out. I was getting kind of bored. But
they edged the climax a little too much.
Yeah.
This hits the beats of like the SA2 story. So it's like Maria, and then Maria dies, and it's actually a very cute montage. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie because it's really well directed. Shadow looks and is animated really well. It's just a very music. It's like the only like truly emotionally compelling scene in the movie.
It sounds like the fucking writers of this movie realized we're on movie 3. The only people who are watching this are people who really like Sonic at this point. Might as well make it more like faithful, I guess.
Like most of the time in a movie, it's like they set something up and then they do it again and evolve it. In this movie, they don't. It's like a schizophrenic movie. Like every single thing just happened. Like and sometimes there's a weird like sense of like lack of like continuity or just like things missing.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Like the most last thing I remember is like Sonic passes out. Tails goes to save him. Tails passes out. Knuckles comes down anyways and saves them.
Was really funny.
And then when they land, Sonic's already awake. Like there's no scene of him like waking up. He's just already awake when they land and they start talking immediately about the next thing that's happening. Like it's always going to the next scene. It's like there's barely time to breathe, especially at the beginning when they're setting all the plot lines.
Yeah.
Or like the Eggman thing where where the robots show up and then instantly Stone shows up and just gets rid of the robots, and then he's like, we have to figure out these are not Eggman's robots, and I'm like, I barely just realized what's fucking going on, and then they go to Eggman and Eggman's like, those aren't my robots, we have to figure out who this is. I guess we're teaming up now. It's like there's like barely any time for characters to like make a choice or like realize what's going on.
I think early on that plays into, I guess, the confusion of Sonic.
Every death in this movie is hilarious. Robotnik just zaps, like he dies by literally he goes into a like a fly zapper. That's how he dies. There's a couple like major issues. The whole movie, like this big arc with Stone and Eggman and setting up like Eggman's finally recognizing that Stone is someone who values him. Like he has this relationship with Robotnik that he's always wanted. He's never had a family. Then he realizes it's the found family that matters. And the whole time I was like, they're setting up for the Eggman Stone scene.
Yeah,
like, that's what it was clearly setting up for. And it like they never really culminated to that. So I was just like, I was waiting for them to have like hot gay with each other, and it never quite reached that point. Like they kind of dropped the ball on that one a little bit.
I understand what you're saying with that, but I heard the subtitle for Sonic 4. It's Sonic for the gays, so they're gonna actually have a scene for Agent Stone and Robotnik, I think, in the first 15 minutes of the film.
Thank God. This is what we've been asking for.
Their dynamic is like the funniest thing in this franchise, I think.
Hi, Dubu. This is Agent Stone from Sonic the Hedgehog, also Lee Majdu. I just want to let you know I support all Robotnik art and fic. It's great. As long as we're not harming anybody, it's all good. And I don't know, old man Yowie's cool sometimes too. I guess. Toxic Yowie's the
never quite understood what Ben Schwartz was going for with his Sonic performance. And I'm now realizing he's doing like a Jaleel White type voice. Like that's what he's going for.
Is that Spider-Verse or something?
He's Urkel, but he also plays Sonic in some of the old cartoons.
That's kind of the same character though, so I was pretty close.
Which makes sense because the older cartoons that Jaleel White played in, I think they played more into the kid aspect of Sonic, which like depending on what you're in is relevant or not.
What did you think of the dance scene? Did you not like that? You. I just want to say fuck you before you answer, because that was pure joy. I don't give a what you say.
It seems like they had fun filming it.
It was the dumbest scene I've ever seen in my life, dude. Eden, Eggman, and Old Man Eggman start busting it down randomly in the movie.
Yes.
Like they're going through these like lasers trying to break into this like vault, and they start going. They start hitting the like getting sturdy and shit. It was like the most insane scene.
Chris Pratt should be Amy. That would be perfect.
Impeccable casting.
You know Awkwafina's gonna be Amy.
Zendaya, what was your favorite scene?
I don't know. What about you? What's your favorite scene?
Okay, I see. I only asked that question because I had my own answer. My favorite scene was the scene at the beginning of the movie where Sonic is chasing Shadow through the city, and everything's like blazing by super fast. I felt like that. I feel like is a scene that I want more of because it was like a scene where I really felt like they were fast. Like it felt like a stage in a Sonic game where it has the feeling like you're on like a roller coaster ride. I think that's like for me that's a big appeal to like Sonic broadly as a franchise, is that kind of feeling. And I felt like that was the first time in the movies I felt like it was like they completely captured that.
For some reason, I thought they were gonna do like a City Escape homage in this movie, where they like Sonic gets chased by a truck and you go through a city. Like I thought they were just gonna do something like that. I was like really wanting that to happen. I'm like, this is definitely.
They gotta get next.
This
movie.
Is the Sonic
they have
Adventure
to get
movie.
it in the next movie.
This is the Sonic Adventure movie. You have to have a City Escape like thing. I'm like, that's such an iconic visual. Like I think that would be so cool.
And they play Live and Learn. Maybe okay. The next movie they could put because they did the Shadow storyline, but they could still do the Chaos storyline. That hasn't been done yet.
That's true. It's awesome. The greatest villain ever. They could do the Chaos storyline. Yeah, no, I think the Chow scene or like the Maria stuff.
Maria.
I thought
they
it was
should have played that song in the movie.
They played Live and Learn. That was epic when they played Live and Learn. It was too cinematic though. They should just play the actual song.
Anytime Tails speaks, I'm filled with joy. I love Tails. They are so cute. Their voice performance. The actor's performance for Tails is so good. She is by far the best performer in the entire movie. I don't even think anybody else comes close to the performance from Tails.
I think Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Okay, that's like the other one who's up there. But like for the fact that like she's not like a famous actor or anything, like she blows Sonic out of the water, blows Knuckles out of the water. I think I was so good.
I was surprised how Idris Elba I feel like was better in this movie. Like I felt like he fit more into the character and felt more less confused.
Well, he had the training arc. I think they found the formula. They're gonna make new Sonic movie every year, and they add one new character. They can do that for like the next 25 years before. I
just want Rouge. I don't give a about Amy, bro.
Well, Amy, they gotta get her in first because she's like the cultural landmark or whatever. She's like, I do it for women, and it's like, whatever, Amy. Like, no one.
Whatever, Amy.
But what about the femme fatale, Rouge the
Bat, who has not one but two love interests.
When are they adding Charmy the Bee and Big the Cat?
Oh my God, Big the Cat!
My pitch for like the next Sonic movie is that we do like a surprise sequel or like spin-off where it's just Wade and Big the Cat on the quest for Froggy.
They're fishing. They're fishing together.
Please, that sounds like the best show ever, dude. Wade and Big the Cat. That's the title of the show. Wade and Big the Cat on the quest for Froggy.
That's the one that goes to Apple TV. Okay.